and Tom is going to write down a C next to the penguin's name. Now the C stands for capelin, which is the type of fish that we feed them. We do this to make sure that the penguin is eating enough. And if the penguin is eating a little bit more, a little bit less, it may be about to molt, or it may be molting, or it may be about to lay an egg.
So you can see.
We have two types of penguins in this exhibit. We have the rock-hopper penguin and the African black-footed penguin. You can tell between the two because the African black-footed penguin has an upside-down U shape on its stomach and black soles of its feet. And the rock-hopper penguin has yellow tufts above its red eyes and an orange beak.
Here's one.
You also saw the movie Happy Feet. The Lovelace is actually a rock-hopper penguin. So there are 18 species of penguins in the world, and only 5 of those 18 can actually live in the Arctic temperatures. And only 2 out of those 5 can live year-round in the Arctic temperatures. The other 3 actually have to migrate in and out. And the 2 that can stay the whole year are the Adelie and the Emperor. The Emperor is actually the tallest penguin in the world. It can get around 4 feet tall. That one is actually the main character from Happy Feet. Penguins can only live below the equator, and polar bears can actually only live above the equator. So you're never going to see a penguin and a polar bear in the same place, except maybe a Coke commercial. You may notice that when Annie hands out a fish to each penguin, she actually has to give it to them head first. And she does that because the scales actually run down the back. So the scales will scratch the penguin's throat if they don't go down head first. Now if you look over at Tom, who also looks at work, that is Cole on his lap. Cole, once in a while, he might shake his head. He's not saying no to Tom. That's actually a sign of love that penguins do between each other. He loves Tom just like a father.
Yeah, I say.
I realized I was on sitting in his lap.
Did you realize that? I watched you crawl up there. Don't you wish you had a penguin sitting in your lap right now?
You know, one of our penguins, Kruger, is molting. I think he's probably hiding at the top right now. But penguins do something called a catastrophic molt. It's a little bit different than what normal birds do. It's because they lose all of their feathers at once and they grow them back. Normal birds usually lose a couple at a time. And the reason penguins have to do this catastrophic molt is because when they lose all their feathers, they cannot go in the water to eat anything because their feathers is kind of like a wetsuit. It keeps them warm in the water. So if they go in, they'll probably freeze. And so they eat a lot of fish before they eat. One of our record is 56 fish made by Amphla before he molted. And so they go through the molt and they lose all their feathers at once, and then they grow them all back in.
Probably have to go to some type of college.
As you can see on the top of our exhibit, we have our nesting pair penguins. Those guys will never come down for anything except to go for a swim with each other because they're very protective of their nest. Our penguins are very cold brine penguins because they know that Annie will go up there and hand feed them herself. And she will also pick up the fish that they do not want. Penguins are very protective of their nests. If a male penguin sees another penguin walking by, he will start to peck at him, warning him not to harm his nest.
Now, in the wild, what African black-headed penguins do is they burrow underneath the ground and they push their egg underneath there, and it kind of protects the egg from the sun. And we couldn't give the African black-footed penguins that opportunity. So instead, one of our penguin specialists, Dave, he bought one of these rocks at a gardening store. He cut a hole in it, cut up some wetsuit, put it on the ground, and the penguins, they love it. We have around 8 or 10 up there. And sometimes you'll see one of the penguins take the wetsuit from one of the nests and put it in the other. They like to steal each other's wetsuit. And the rock-hopper penguins, they do have a nest all the way over there on the right, in that little cave. We only have 3 rockhoppers, and we actually haven't had any successful hatchings. Now, penguins have very, very dense bones and dense feathers. That's actually one of the reasons they don't fly. But even though it doesn't help them in the air, it helps them a lot in the water. Their dense bones and dense feathers actually help them with their buoyancy, which makes sure that they don't float up or sink down. Penguins have around 50 to 70 per square inch of feathers, and they have very, very short little feathers packed together real close. And regular birds have around 5 to 7 per square inch of feathers. Now, penguins have been seen up to depths of 400 feet, but they normally stay around 200 or 300 when they are eating.